What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Jury Duty. So this was a first time watch for me. This has been on my list. I've wanted to see it for quite a while, but I had never really seen this movie on streaming before, and I looked into getting the DVD, but it must be out of print because the only DVDs that I saw that were available were like $30 or $50, and I'm not gonna spend that much like for a movie that I haven't even seen. Like, what if it sucks? But I was just scrolling through Tubi, and this movie was on, in the Leaving Soon category, and I'm like, how have I not known that this was on Tubi for like an entire month? I've wanted to see this. So this movie was gonna expire in 9 days, so I had to watch it because I just watched Encino Man because that was expiring in 9 days. So I kind of got the Pauly Shore movie fever going on right now. So like I said, this was a first time watch for me, and I didn't really go in with that high of expectations. Like the trailer made this movie seem lame, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you all. I had a fun time with this. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a fun little story. It was a fun movie, and there were quite a few funny moments. It wasn't the funniest movie ever, but it was just a nice, lighthearted, funny comedy. There was nothing wrong with it, and there were quite a few moments where I did chuckle, and I think the comedy worked in this. But anyways, now that I've given you all my overall thoughts, I'm going to get into a little plot summary. So this movie follows Tommy, who's played by Pauly Shore, and he's trying to be like a male stripper, but it's not working out. He like sucks. He has this whole routine where he's like dumping milk on himself. People are not really feeling that. So the male stripper thing's not working out. He doesn't really have any prospects. He's trying to apply for jobs. Nothing's really working out. He lives with his mom in this mobile home, and he gets like a jury duty notice, but he's like, man, F that. He just throws it out. But then his mom is getting married, so she takes the mobile home to go get married, and he's supposed to stay with these other people, but like he doesn't really mess with them. So he like goes and he digs out the jury duty notice, because if in this movie, if you do jury duty, you get $5 a day, you get meals on the house, and you get to stay in a hotel. So he's like, I don't want to stay with this crusty family over here, and my mom's out of town. She took my entire house, so gotta do this jury duty. And his mom's gone for a minute, so he tries to find the longest trial possible. And there's this whole sequence where he's in these different trials, and they're like trying to select the jury, and they're like, well, this is gonna wrap up real quick. This is gonna be a speedy trial, and he's just doing the most to get kicked out of every trial. That whole sequence was so funny. Like, he would like say like to the lawyer like, oh, hey man, good to see you. Remember we went to high school together? We were cheating on tests together. You were writing off my paper. We had the notes on our hands. I remember you. Or he would just like act crazy and just start screaming. He'd be like, order in the court, order in the court. Like, whenever it was a short trial, he was just trying to get kicked out, and that was a great sequence. So eventually he gets he's eligible for this murder trial, and they're like, it's gonna be a long one, and he just puts on this act. They're like, so have you been following this trial? And he's like, no, I don't watch television, I don't watch the news, it's much too biased. So anyways, he becomes a juror on the lengthy murder trial. Everyone thinks that the guy who's accused is guilty, but Tommy, you know, says that he's not guilty, and most of the movie is like him trying to plead his case. He's just trying to, you know, prolong this whole thing so he can stay in the hotel. And he starts out staying in this like crusty room, but with his like this guy who used to be his principal, and this guy's like listening to these self-help tapes all night, and he's just blasting them, and Tommy can't sleep, so he makes this deal with the hotel people where it's like, hey, if I advertise your stuff on TV, you know, you gotta hook me up with the penthouse suite, because, you know, this case is getting media attention, they're gonna interview me. So yeah, he gets upgraded to the penthouse. He's living lavish, life is good, the trial is going on. He's getting $5 a day straight balling. He's getting meals on the house. He's getting free coffees, complimentary. He's penthouse living, watching all the Jeopardy he wants to watch, chilling with his dog Peanut. So everything's good. So that's the basic plot. I don't want to get into the end stuff. It's a little too early for that. Maybe I'll get into that later, but who knows? I can't call it. But now that I gave you all a little plot summary, I would like to just go over some random funny scenes that I really liked. So one of the best scenes in the movie is, you know, during the murder trial, one of the lawyers brings in, I believe he's a psychiatrist, and he's like trying to analyze the killer and say like why it was him and why he's guilty and blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, you know, with a lot of these killers, like the reason is because it all comes down to penis envy. And then Pauly Shore's character Tommy, he keeps saying like, what kind of envy? I didn't catch that. What kind of envy were you said what envy? And he asked like just countless times. He's just asking over and over and over again, what envy? What envy? And then he keeps saying penis envy. And then the judge, like after Tommy keeps saying it, like what kind of envy? The judge is just like, he's like slamming down his gavel. He's like penis. That whole sequence was absolutely hilarious. I feel like I was chuckling out loud a little bit at that one, so I love that. I already mentioned this, but I'm just gonna give it another shout out here. The whole sequence where he's trying to like intentionally get kicked out of the short trials, that whole sequence is top notch. It's a great sequence. It's really funny, and it's like kind of creative, all the different ways that he, you know, gets out of those cases. Like, you know, like I said, like he knows the lawyer. He doesn't really, but he's saying he knows the lawyer, like acting crazy, blah blah blah. There's like countless little schemes that he does to get kicked out. And then later on in the movie, he's calling the main girl, Monica. He's calling her up on the phone, and he's like trying to plead his case and, you know, like argue why he wants to say that the killer's not guilty. And he's just watching some courtroom movie, some like old black and white courtroom movie, and he's just reciting all of the lines from the courtroom movie, and she's just totally impressed. She's like, oh my goodness, you're so passionate, you're so knowledgeable. Like, I didn't know you're so into this stuff. Like, you clearly, I guess you know what you're talking about. And then it's funny that he's just like reciting the stuff from the TV and it's totally working. But after that, so like his dog Peanut switches it to Jeopardy, and then it's something about a duck-billed platypus, and he just calls Monica. He's like, yeah, you know what? You're being a real duck-billed platypus, which that was awesome. And so that scene, you got the Jeopardy reference, and well, it's not really a reference, but I thought that was nice. I thought that like them including Jeopardy in this movie, like, so his dog is super into Jeopardy, and that's that's a main plot point. No, I'm just kidding. But that's something that's added in the story, and it kind of comes up a couple times. And then the Duck-Bill Platypus line I loved, because there's, you know, in Biodome, there's that whole Duck-Bill Platypus line where he's got the nitrous oxide on. He's like, look at me, I'm a Duck-Bill Platypus. I don't know why, but I just think that's hilarious to call someone a Duck-Bill Platypus. It's absolutely random. It's super offensive, like, you know. And you're not cursing or anything, so it's like school and work appropriate. So next time someone gets a little crazy, you gotta be like, you know what? I'm saying it. You're a Duck-Bill Platypus. And they're like, man, don't take that back. Don't, come on, anything but anything but a Duck-Bill Platypus. That's disrespectful. You know, you don't just go around calling anyone a Duck-Bill Platypus. But I like that they had that, because that was in Biodome as well. I just said that, but I'm just reiterating. Biodome came out after this, but I like how there's some, you know, connective tissue there, some, because, you know, they're all Pauly Shore movies. And then the Jeopardy thing, I just reviewed Encino Man, so Pauly Shore's character from Encino Man, Stoney, that's like a big, you know, character trait of him in that movie, is that, like, he loves Jeopardy. Like, I remember, what's his name, Sean Astin's character is like, yeah, Stoney, and then you can watch all the Jeopardy you can handle. Like, I like the little connectivity between the Pauly Shore movies, like, where, you know, you got the Jeopardy, you got the Duck-Bill Platypus references. I love it. And then I was just thinking, like, of course, you know, Pauly Shore doesn't write these movies, but, like, I wonder if he's like a big Jeopardy guy in real life, and then the writers just decided to add that in a couple movies. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Jeopardy, but I like the little connectivity, the little continuity. No, I'm just kidding. It's not even continuity. I'm just fooling. Getting back into some funny scenes here. You know, like I said, his roommate earlier on in the movie, he's listening to all this self-help stuff, so Tommy's not getting any sleep. So one day he's just like in the cafeteria, he gets an entire pot of coffee, he just grabs it, puts it on his tray, and he's putting like a ton of sugar, a ton of cream in it. I don't know why, that was just like a little quick scene, but I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Like, I don't know, like, that just worked for me. And then I might have mentioned this briefly, but when he's advertising for the hotel, it's so funny because, you know, he's on TV and all their faces are blurred out, like all the jurors, and he's just like, he's got the t-shirt, the hat, the brochures of the hotel, and he's just doing like the shameless plug, and he's just kind of like dancing around trying to evade like the little blur on the screen so he can advertise for the hotel, and it works out. They get like a bunch of customers, so I thought that was a funny scene. There's like a ton of funny scenes. I can't get to everything, but I like I said, I thought this was a funny movie. It was a fun movie, so there was quite a few funny sequences that I liked. And then the last thing I'm going to get into here is the ending. So I thought the ending was pretty darn cool. There was a nice twist that I didn't see coming, and the whole third act was pretty darn cool. Got a little action packed there for a sec, and Tommy's dog Peanut comes to the rescue, which is absolutely hilarious. Like, the end of this movie is just so outlandish, and you know, it's just really silly, and like, it's funny. Like, it's just outlandish. Like, the dog comes to save the day, but oh Jeopardy's on, so the dog's not coming, but then he's coming, and he just attacks the antagonist, and it's so funny. And then he's being like Tommy, like, after he takes down the real killer, he's being you know, congratulated, and they like unveil this giant check, and you think it's gonna be for like $1 million, because he like found out who the actual killer was, and he stopped him. You think he's gonna get like $1 million check or something crazy, or even like 10,000 bucks or something legit. But it's just a check for $5 for, they're like, since you pretty much, you know, worked another day by catching that killer, here's another $5 for an extra day of work. That was hilarious. And then he goes back to dancing, and he's got this whole like attorney costume and theme where he has like the old style like white wig, and he does like this dance routine as, you know, just like a lawyer, like an attorney. So that was really funny and outlandish. And then they do like a "Where Are They Now" thing, and basically Tommy made so many tips, he made so many singles from, you know, his new dance routine at the strip club, that he put himself through law school, and now he's a lawyer. So that's legit, because he was on his little detective stuff. I mean, that's different than a lawyer, but I mean, he was cracking the case, which was fun. That's what I'm saying. The story was fun. You know, I liked Pauly Shore's character. I liked quite a few of the main characters. I liked the little twist. I thought the whole you know, legal theme was fun, and it was, you know, a fun story. It worked for me. This whole movie worked for me. I enjoyed it. And I think it got like terrible reviews. I think people hate on this movie, but I thought it was good. So I don't know. I think a lot of people just, they hate Pauly Shore movies. They hate his type of humor, because he does have that, you know, silly, goofy type of humor, but I like that stuff. I think he's funny, and I don't know, I like his movies. They're lighthearted. They're not, you know, so many movies nowadays, they're trying to be so dark. Like, his movies are just fun, lighthearted, feel-good movies, something you can chill to. They're just nice, relaxing, comfort movies to watch. I said that in the last one. They're just comforting movies to watch. They're just fun movies. And everyone wants to, you know, be all highbrow all the time and hate on everything, you know, like, movies at the end of the day are about enjoyment. So if you enjoy some stuff, even if people don't like it, who cares? Like, I like his movies. I don't like every single one, but I mean, I enjoyed this, and I enjoy quite a few of his other movies, so that's that. So in terms of recommendation, let me tell you, I just said how much I like this movie, so I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of comedies, especially if you're a fan of Pauly Shore. But other than that, I said everything I wanted to say about this movie, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.